Welcome to Stories with Sapphire. I'm your Ate Sapphire. Have you ever been in a long-distance relationship? They can be extremely challenging, especially when there's an evil entity making everything worse. Jean and Kevin will have to learn this the hard way. And now, it's story time. Jean had just moved to Cebu City in the Philippines, leaving his boyfriend Kevin alone in their apartment in Manila. The gig is only a couple of months, Jean assured Kevin over video chat. You have to video call me every day after work, okay? You promise? Promise. A week had gone by and Jean kept his word. They talked every single night. He didn't love that Kevin was so needy, but he knew that he was going through a lot and was working on it with his therapist, and knew that this relationship was worth holding on to. One night, Jean and Kevin were on a video call, as usual. Jean was on his computer in his room, his back turned to his bedroom door. He was telling Kevin about the long shoot he had that day, when Kevin's brow wrinkled. Babe, I thought you said you lived alone. Yeah, I do. Then who just walked past your doorway? Jean swiveled his chair around. Oh, you're probably seeing the tree outside. One sec. Jean left the room for a minute and returned. Kevin's heart began to pound. There's this tree outside that casts weird shadows, but I closed the curtains so it won't bother you anymore, okay? Kevin's silent face stared back. Show me the tree. Are you serious? Show me the tree. Jean let out a heavy sigh and picked up his laptop. Kevin watched intently as Jean aimed the camera at the windows. He opened the curtain, revealing a barren, eerily shaped tree. He then pointed the camera towards the doorway, where a humanoid shadow appeared. Kevin hung his head in shame and chuckled. Kev, if this is going to work, we need to trust each other. I know. Sorry. I'll be better, I swear. Kevin held his pinky up to the camera. Jean did the same. The next night, Jean and Kevin hopped on a video call. Jean was filling him in on how his shoot went when somebody crossed the doorway behind him. Jean was so focused on telling his story that he didn't even notice the shift in Kevin's expression. Kevin continued to nod and pretend to listen while he secretly began to record their video call, both hoping and not hoping to see the person walk by again. A half hour had gone by, and Kevin's focus had never left the doorway. Are you okay? You've been kind of quiet. Yeah, sorry, I'm just kind of tired, that's all. Okay, well, I miss you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Just as Jean ended the call, Kevin caught something moving in the doorway. He quickly replayed the recording. In the last few moments before Jean ended the call, there was a single frame of what was clearly a man standing in his doorway. Kevin's heart sank. The next day, Kevin's anxiety was at an all-time high. Jean had been lying to him, and now he had proof. But how was he going to call him out on it? Kevin was giving himself a stomach ache thinking about it. He decided that when they got on their nightly call, he would just be direct. 7 p.m. came, and Kevin answered Jean's call. Hi, Kev. How was your day? But Kevin didn't say a word. He shared his screen, revealing the screenshot from the video from last night. I don't get it. What is that? You've been lying to me, Jean. Why would you do this to me? Kev, I swear, I don't know who that is. I swear. He held his pinky up to the camera. We're done, Jean. I'm gonna start looking for my own place. Have fun with your friend. Oh, look, there he is. The man entered Jean's bedroom. Kevin ended the call and cried into his hands. After a few moments, he collected himself and pulled up the recording of the video call he just ended. Show me your face, you bastard. He scrubbed the video until the end. The man entered the bedroom. Jean turned around, fell out of his seat, and screamed. As the man got closer to camera, Kevin's eyes got wider. The man appeared to have a gaping hole in his chest. He then grabbed Jean's face, and the call ended. Kevin sat in silence for a moment. Whatever he saw could not have been human. He began searching the man's description on the internet. A few articles came up. Walay kasing kasing, the man with no heart. According to multiple websites, Walay kasing kasing was once a man. He never found love in life and became old and bitter. When he passed, he became a ravenous spirit, just as bitter as he was in life, seeking out fragile relationships and breaking them down so that everyone can be miserable like he was. Once he's gained enough power from the negative energy they produce, he consumes the couple and moves on to the next. Kevin couldn't look away from his screen. This was all his fault. He quickly booked a ticket to Cebu City and headed straight for the airport. A few hours later, he found himself outside of Jean's apartment. Jean was not answering the buzzer or his phone. It was too early in the morning for any of the other tenants to walk out and let him in. Kevin looked around the building, trying to come up with a plan. And that's when he noticed the familiar, creepy tree. There was only one set of windows immediately next to it. Kevin raced over to the window and managed to push it open. He climbed inside the apartment. It was quiet. Kevin called out for Jean. No response. Across the apartment was a room with light emanating from the open doorway. Kevin carefully made his way toward it. As he got closer, he heard a very odd sound. It was familiar, but he couldn't place it. He crept up to the doorway and slowly looked inside the room. At the desk was Jean's limp, lifeless body. He was in the arms of a skinless, hellish creature who was devouring Jean's chest. Kevin let out a horrified gasp. The creature lifted its head, with bits of Jean's heartstrings still dangling from its mouth, and lunged at the doorway. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like and share this story. Submit your own stories to storieswithsapphire@gmail.com. For more spooky, supernatural, and spiritual stories, listen to the Stories with Sapphire podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. If you like what you saw and would like to support this independently run show, head over to patreon.com/storieswithsapphire to learn more. Until we meet again, sleep tight.